Welcome traders, and today I'm going to be talking about possibly the largest trade of the next couple of years, possibly the largest trade I will ever make in my life. So this is Bitcoin mining stocks. That's what we're going to talk about today. As you can see from the screen here, this is a webpage where I get some articles for news on different Bitcoin mining stocks and the things that they're doing, their hash rates, other information. Anyways, it's just compassmining.io. Go to Compass Content, articles, takes you here. We're going to be looking at the Bitcoin mining stock roundup for May. The roundup for June has not come out yet, so this information is a little bit old, but still useful. Let's go ahead and take a look at it. Bitcoin mining stock roundup. So you've probably heard some other influencers talking about the two darlings of Bitcoin mining stocks, Marathon and Riot, for a good reason. They're very large. They have big hash rates. They mine a lot of Bitcoin. They've been around a long time. So there's a reason a lot of people talk about them. We're going to look at some others here, and we're going to dig into that. But first, let's take a look at the reason why I want to make this trade and the reason why I think this is going to be a huge trade. So for perspective, let's look at the Marathon digital chart. So this is the chart. This is the weekly chart. So each candle represents 1 week. Blue are candles that move up, and red are candles that move down. I just kind of like that color scheme more so than the green and red. Do with that what you will. So one of the most important things to look at on this chart is this box here. Let's make that box a little smaller, actually. Here we go. This box here. This here represents the crypto winter. This is the winter from 2019 to 2020. And during this crypto winter, it stayed in this very tight range. Each of these, remember, is a week. So this is years of tight range movement. It bottomed out at around 27, 30-ish cents. We'll say. I don't really want to zoom in because I got my window here nice and set up the way I like. So around 30-ish cents, and is currently trading for $15. So even if you bought at the lows of the previous cycle, you are still up immensely today than you were before. Even if you held through the bottom of this cycle, which was about $3.25, you would have still been way, way up from the 30 cents that it reached in the previous cycle. So anyways, that's a really huge difference from this 30 cents to the previous peak, which was $40, or this cycle's peak. Let me get that out of the way. This cycle's peak, which was $83, almost $84. Let's move that up a little bit so you can see. Almost $84. So imagine buying thousands of these things for 33 cents and then selling them at $83. Now, we're not going to do that because obviously we can't do that. We've already likely missed the bottom in this cycle, which was in the $3 range. Currently, we're at $15, heading towards $16 and beyond. So the next best thing would be to get in now and hold through the next halving and through the next bull cycle. This is just real quick and dirty version of trying to do a quick price prediction on this thing. So if we look back here, previous high from 2017, 2018 was $40. High from last time in 2021 was about $83, almost $84. Let's just call that 80 for the ease of math. It went double what it did in 2017. Now, can it do that again? Maybe. Let's go with maybe. And if it does, this stock price is looking at about $160 in late 2025 or maybe late 2024, depending on if some speculation of the bull cycle coming early this time around turn out to be true. We don't know. We won't know until then, of course. We can fairly easily guess that the next peak could reach $160, probably pretty easily, especially if we start getting Bitcoin spot ETFs approved in the United States. That could be a huge mover for this thing. With that, if we invest now at, let's just round up to $16, buy 100 shares of that at $16, $1,600 investment. If it reaches a peak of $160, you took your $1,600 and you 10x'd that into $16,000. That's pretty exciting. That's why I'm looking at this trade, and I will continue to do so this year. And Mara isn't the only Bitcoin mining stock I'm looking at. There's a few others. I actually already own some Mara, and I'll buy more. And I have Bit Digital as well as Bitfarms, and then I'm also looking at Hut. We'll talk about all of those, probably not in this video for the sake of time, but I will get around to it before long, hopefully before they start taking off in price. So now, why would you want to own this instead of Bitcoin itself? So I own a lot of crypto. I've been playing with crypto since 2017, so right before the big run-up. I got in, it was like July, August of 2017 is when I started buying crypto. And I got in on that first bull cycle, and it was quite euphoric. And obviously I didn't really make any money off that because I didn't know what I was doing, but it was a fun time, and I'm still in it since then. Anyway, so why wouldn't you want to own Bitcoin itself? You might want to. The problem I see with it is there's a few things. The exchanges that are expensive and this year constantly failing and going bankrupt or getting wrapped up in scandals. Even Binance isn't safe. It's the biggest crypto exchange in the world, and there's been so much bad news coming out. I mean, people would say it's FUD, but there are reasons I kept my money out of Binance. Anyways, that's just one of them. I won't go into that until another video. Perhaps I'll talk about the issues I had and have with Binance that keep me from trading on it. So, exchanges, can you trust them? Probably not. Are they expensive? Yes, they have high fees. Mostly the fees. That's what keeps me out of Bitcoin itself. Also, the transaction costs of the network. Those go up. Like, let's say when the network gets clogged, it's really slow. You're not going to get the price that you think you're going to get when you try to sell Bitcoin or really any other crypto sometimes. I've had issues where exchanges have halted the trading of assets for days before. You also have assets like XRP. XRP that was or has been stuck in litigation for years now. You can't trade it. I own XRP. I can't do anything with it. It just sits there. That's it. I have to wait. So anyways, I don't trade in Bitcoin itself because it is expensive. It's kind of a pain to maintain Bitcoin because you don't really want to keep it on the exchanges, because what if your exchange goes under? What if they're lying to you? What if someone hacks their exchange? Any of that stuff. So you need to have offline cold storage wallets, which you need to learn how to do and figure out and not lose your keys to that wallet. You also have to not lose the wallet itself, which is just a little USB stick. And I don't know about you, but I lose those things all the time. It's risky. It's relatively unsafe, and I'd rather not deal with it if I don't have to. Stocks are great. I have a brokerage, which is also my bank, which does not charge me any fees for trading shares of stock. And all I'm going to pay is the taxes when it comes time to pay those on this trade. So stock is the way for me. It also moves in huge multiples. I mean, if you bought this at 30-ish cents and then sold it at $80, that's huge multiples. Let's look at that. $83. Yeah, it's 276 times your money. So if you just put in you could have even put in $100 and you would have come out with $27,000 from that trade. That's amazing. If people are saying that Bitcoin is the best trade, I think the Bitcoin miners might be the best trade, just from the perspective of appreciation combined with the safety of and ease of using a brokerage that you've already got set up, and without having to pay all those fees or trying to figure out how to safely store it. So this is why I'm looking at Bitcoin miners. So let's take a couple of minutes to look at some different Bitcoin miners. I've already mentioned Marathon. If you look here, so this top one is their hash rate. That's how much basically Bitcoin mining power they have. This third line is important as well. That's how much Bitcoin that they mined in May. Current Bitcoin hodl, that's important to, depending on the type of trade you want to make. That is important, and we'll talk about that. How much they sold, that indicates to me how much they rely on their Bitcoin sales in order to stay solvent as a company versus using the fees for the network fees to keep their operating costs, to pay for their operating costs. So that's important too. How much Bitcoin they mine per hash, for their hash rate, their efficiency basically of their Bitcoin. That's important. Let's look here. Hash rate. So hash rate's important. It just shows you how much mining power they have. Obviously Marathon and Riot over here on the right, those are going to be the biggest. Marathon with 15.2, Riot with 10.5. That's huge, especially compared to the others. I mean, the next closest one is a little more than half of Riot's hash rate. So they're like twice the size of every other Bitcoin mining operation around. Some other notable entries. So we've got Cypher. I looked at this before. I can't remember why. I took it off my list. Let's see. Hut 8 is another one a lot of people are talking about. It's got a very low hash rate. But if we go down here, they have a pretty amazing treasury of Bitcoin at 9,000. For how small that hash rate is, that is amazing. They've been holding on to Bitcoin for a while, which means that they make enough money off of other revenue streams rather than selling Bitcoin to stay afloat. So I like that. That means they have good cash flow in their company, that they don't need to sell their Bitcoin. So I like that. That's very attractive to me. I might be looking at that. That's interesting. Another one, let's see, Bit Digital is another one I hold. They actually have the lowest hash rate of any others here. They do, however, have a decent Bitcoin hodl at 454. They sold very little of their Bitcoin that they mined. So they mined 113 in May. They sold only 84. That's great. I mean, especially when we look over here at Hut, who has a huge treasury of Bitcoin, but they only mined 147 Bitcoin last month, but they had to sell 180 Bitcoin last month. So they were net negative on that last month. Ones I want to avoid are with zero Bitcoin. I don't want to hold any Bitcoin mining companies that don't hold any of their Bitcoin. That concerns me. That makes me think that perhaps a good portion of their company relies, a good portion of their operation relies on the sales of Bitcoin, and the price of Bitcoin fluctuates quite dramatically. So if their operation relies on the sales of Bitcoin, I don't like that. That makes me nervous. And then you got Argo over here with 50. I don't know why that is. I'd have to look into it more. I don't like that it's only 50. That's pretty low. I'd probably stay away from that as well. It's basically just as good as zero. So let's take a look at CleanSpark. Oh, yeah, Cypher was another one. Is it Cypher? Okay, so Cypher's headquartered in the US. I like that. That's good. Oh, that's why I didn't like Cypher. I'll look at the chart. I think they've only been around since 2020. That's why I don't like Cypher. They don't have enough history to their stock for me to feel comfortable purchasing it. I want to see a Bitcoin mining stock that has, like Mara, survived a crypto winter, 2 Bitcoin winters. If you look at Riot, they've survived many Bitcoin winters. So I want that. I want companies that have enough longevity to show me that they can survive a Bitcoin winter. Because Bitcoin, crypto winters are intense. And wow, that's a big number. When did it's come out? 2012. So CleanSpark's been around since 2012. Headquartered in Nevada, founded in 1987. So Bitcoin wasn't around in 1987. So I don't know what else this company does. I'd have to look more into that before I'd be interested in investing. What do they have for their Bitcoin hodl? Not bad. Hash rate of 6.7. They sold 471 Bitcoin last month, but they mined 609. So that's, I'd have to look more into CleanSpark. That I'm interested now. I'll look later. I might even do a video on that. If we scroll down, this is the efficiency of their hash rate, the efficiency of their mining. You got Bitfarms at number 1. I do own some Bitfarms. They did have a pretty decent hash rate, decent hodl. Not great that they had to sell so much, but they are able to hold 510 for being a relatively small company, a pretty small operation, nothing like Hut, but Hut is an outlier in that, and I'll talk about in the future why that interests me just so much that they've got 9,000 Bitcoin for such a small company. Marathon and Riot are actually pretty inefficient with their mining. Hut is terribly inefficient with their mining operation. That needs to be improved. So let's go over here now. We're going to take a quick look at Forbes, the best and the worst small cap stocks of the first half of 2023. Bitcoin miners. That's why I'm looking at this, because they talk about Bitcoin miners. They also talk about AI. But Bit Digital shows up in here with a 627% increase this year. That's insane. Let's take a look at that chart, actually. Year to date, 520%. That's because we come down a little bit, but 520% since January. That's amazing. Take a look at Mara. Year to date, 359%. Nothing to spit at. I've been trading it since around here, around the 6 to 10. I wish I just held it, but I traded it. I made some money, but I could have made a lot more if I just held. Oh well, that's the way it goes. About Cypher Mining, 478%. Like that, those are big multiples, but they're going to get bigger as we get into the halving. So that's why I'm looking at this now, and I'm getting into it. Oh yeah, I was over here. Bit Digital was the biggest returner of the year so far of the small caps. That's one of the reasons I'm buying them. I'm also buying them because their stock is under $5. I've been buying them since their stock was under $2. And I'm going to hold that thing until it reaches its peak, and we'll look at that another time, though. So please don't take any of this as financial advice or a suggestion to buy, sell, or hold any security. I'm simply talking about a trade that I am currently working on that I'm very excited about. Do your own research. Take a look at these if you're interested. Come to your own conclusions, and if it makes sense to buy them for you in your situation and you decide to do that, that's great. If you decide not to, that's also great. Good luck and have a profitable day.